In this tutorial, we will learn how to import the dataset in Python, as well as how to perform the data exploration and data visualization in Python. And for this, we need to work in the Colab. As in the Colab, the Jupyter environment is freely available where we can run our codes. So, how we can access the Colab? The Colab is easily available in the Gmail account. If we do not have our Gmail account, we can create our Gmail account first. Then we can open our Gmail account. Here I do have my Gmail account. Now on these dots I will click. Here I can see the multiple folders. I will click on the drive. Just double click on the drive to open it. Now drive is open. I can see here the plus new sign. I will click on it. Now pop down. I can see the multiple, means like Google Collaboratory, Google App Script, multiple folders here, and I will click on the Google Collaboratory. Now the Google, means Jupyter notebook is open in the Google Colab. I can write down my code. Here I can see the untitled 6. I can change its name. I can give it a name, practice set 1. Now I have changed its name. Here I can see the two, means sign plus code and plus text. Plus code is used to write the code, and plus text is used whenever I would like to write the text about the code. For example, here I want to import the dataset, so I can write down import the dataset. Click on it. Now click on the plus code. Now I do have the another cell to write my code, and this cell is extra, so I can delete this cell. In this cell, I can write my code to import the dataset. But here, to work on any dataset, first of all, I need to import the dataset, or I need to just upload the dataset on the Google Colab, because in the Google Colab I do not have any dataset uploaded here. So first of all, I need to upload the dataset. For this purpose, I need to use the command. Need to use the command from google.colab import files. Next command is uploaded is equal to files.upload parenthesis. Now just run this cell. Now internet speed is slow, so it is taking little longer time. If the code is correct, on the left side I will see the tick mark. Let's run it first. Now here we can see the choose file icon. I will click on it. Now I have a dataset diegetic files. I will click on this dataset. Now we have uploaded the diegetic file. This is our dataset on which we will work, and there we can see the uh, extension .csv. Now I will click on the plus code again to have the next cell. Now we have uploaded dataset. Now I have to read out the dataset. What are the rows and columns mm, of the data set, what are the features of the data set. So to read out the data set means I need to import the pandas module, import pandas module hpd. As I have discussed in my earlier lecture, I have discussed in my earlier lecture that to read out any file or to read out any data, we need to import the pandas module. The PD is the short name of the pandas. Now write df is equal to pd dot, pd is the short name of the pandas, so pd dot read underscore csv. Now write down the file name here. The file name is diabetes dot csv. csv is the extension of this file. Now run this cell. Now the code is correct, so here we can see the tick mark, tick sign here. Now click on the plus code. Now here we can by using this means pd dot read underscore csv method, we have basically read out the this diabetes file. Now the first part means importing the data set is complete. Now we will move on to the second phase. The second phase is the data exploration. Means what is the data exploration? The data means in the data exploration we will explore the data. We will just try to know. Uh, we will try to get familiar about the data. What is data all about? What are the rows? What are the columns? What are the features in the data set? So we will try to get familiar about the data set in the data exploration. So here we can, this was the part of data importing. So we can write the importing data. Now second phase is the data exploration. Here we can give the comment data exploration. For writing the comment, we can use the hash. So data exploration is the second phase. If we do not use this hash, so it would not be treated as a comment. But if we use here the hash, then this text will be treated as a comment. Now data, for the data exploration, we have to use the head method, df dot head. Now run this cell. The head method is used to basically display the few records of the data. Here we can see the few records of data: pregnancies, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulin, BMI, diabetes, pedigree function, and age. These are the columns. Basically these are the features. Means here we can see the columns means like pregnancy, glucose, blood pressure. All these are the columns, and which are basically nothing but the features of this data set. And in row we can see the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this head function is used to display the few records. And if we want to display the more records, then we can just mention the number, means how many rows we want to extract. And if you want to extract the 10 rows, we can mention 10 here. And now we click again on it. Here we can see the 10 rows, means starting from the zero index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here are the 10 rows, and we can extract any number of rows just by mentioning the number here. We can extract the five rows also. So here we can see the 5 rows. We have extracted 5 rows. This head method is used to display the records, basically records of the data. So whatever number of rows we want to extract, we can just give it in. We can use the number here. We can mention the number here in the parenthesis, and we can extract. Now this head method is used to extract only the starting rows. But if we want to have the information about the last rows, then we need to use the tail method. Now click on the plus code and use df dot tail. If you want to have the information about the last 5 rows, we can mention the 5. Here we can see the last 5 rows, 763 to 767. The total number of rows in this data sets are 768, and as we are starting from the 0 index to 067, so actually there are the 768 rows, but due to using the first index at the 0, we will have the 760 here. So if we want to reduce the number, we can reduce the number. We can, if you want to see the few last lines only, last row only, here we can see the last rows, last 2 rows, 766 and 767. Now next is the data types. If you want to know the data types, what kind of means what kind of data type our data has. So for this purpose, we need to use the dot dtypes method. Df dot dtypes. Now run this cell. Here we can see the data types. Our data means our most of the data is integer type, as we can see in the table itself. Means our most of the columns are integer type, means like pregnancies 61810, and glucose is also integer type 148, 85, 183, 89, and similarly blood pressure is also integer type 72, 66, 64, and skin thickness is also integer. Insulin is also integer. Here BMI is different, it is float type. So as it is means you can see the dot means decimal sign here 33.6. So this is the float type. And similarly diabetes pedigree function is also float type. Here we can see the decimal point dot. Now age is integer type. So by using the dtypes method, we can see the types of data, means how many types of data we have, whether the data is integer type, float type, boolean type, or object type. So the outcome is also integer. Here we can see the outcome is also integer type 10101. So what the one does it represent? One represent means the person is having the diabetes, and 0 represent the person is not having diabetes. Here we have the two class, means here we can see the 8 columns, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Be my age sixth column, seventh and eighth. Eight columns means these 8 columns are the basically features, and ninth column outcome is the target variable, means target class. So this is the output class. This is represented in the form of one or zeros. So one is simply representing the person is having the diabetes, and zero is representing the person is not having the diabetes. So next is the data visualization. The third phase of this means this tutorial is the data visualization. So just simply click on the plus code and write the comment data visualization. Now next is write the code for the data visualization. For the data visualization, we will use the Seaborn as well as Matplotlib library. So first of all, we need to import the Seaborn and Matplotlib module. Import Seaborn module. Import Seaborn as SNS. Also import the Matplotlib module. Import Matplotlib dot pyplot pyplotlib pyplot edge plt matplotlib.pyplot. So okay, now here we can also use the command importing matplotlib module, and here also we can use the command importing Seaborn module. Now we can check whether we have written the right code or not. So the code is right. Here we have imported the Seaborn module as well as matplotlib module. Now we can use these modules for the visualization purpose, for visualization of our data. Now click on the plus code. Now for the visualization purpose, we will use the set method sns.set style is equal to, in single quotes we can write dark grid. Now we can check whether this code is right or not. The code is right, so we can write the next line of code sns dot histplot dot histplot data is equal to df. As you can see, we use the df variable to store the data. Here we can see the df variable to store the data, so we use the data is equal to df. Now comma x is equal to, in single quotes we will use the age. Now check whether code is correct or not. The code is correct, and here we can see the histogram. Our code has plotted the histogram. Here we can see the age on the x-axis and count on the y-axis. So we can also write one more line of code. Plot dot show, plt dot show. Now code is complete basically. So we have means we can analyze our data by using this histogram. What does this histogram represent? On the y-axis, this is representing the count, and on the x-axis, this is representing the age. So age-wise means how many counts are there. Means of the 30 age means how many persons are there of 30 age, and if we just check here means how many persons are of 40 years old, and how many persons are 50 years old. And here we can see in this data there is no person means whose age is 80. So at of the 80 age there is no person, there is 0 person. And here we can see there is very few person of 70 years, means 70 years old. And here we can check there are the maximum person with the age 20 to 30. So this histogram is just telling us about the distribution of data. So we can just check the distribution of any column of any feature. We can check the distribution of BMI, insulin, skin thickness of, and blood pressure. So in this edge here we are seeing the distribution of age, means age wise distribution. We can see the distribution of any other feature. Now next is the violin plot. So to draw the violin plot, we will use the function sns dot violin plot x in single quote. We will write age, comma, y in double quotes. We will write BMI. Age can also be written in double quotes. Now hue is equal to outcome. Outcome is nothing but the target class, comma, data. Here we have stored the data in df variable. So we will use the df. Now we will check whether we have written the right code or not. The code is right. So we will display the violin plot. Here we can see the violin plot. On the x-axis, the age is plotted basically, and on y-axis BMI. And here we can see the 0 and 1, means 0 and 1 are the two classes, diabetic classes, basically 0 representing the non-diabetic patients and 1 representing the diabetic patients. And what does this violin plot represent? Basically this is representing the distribution of data, where we are seeing the thick line, means the broad line broad and thick line. The more people means more data is concentrated where the line is thick, and less data is concentrated where the line is thin. So here we can see the BMI means BMI range for the particular value of age. We can see the range of BMI. BMI is body mass index, and uh, how many people are suffering from the diabetes and how many people are healthy, non-diabetic people. So this data representing basically by using the thick means thick portion representing the high density of data, and thin portion represent the low density of data. So for the more details, we can just Google the violin plot. What does this represent? So I think the point is clear now. Now, thanks a lot. In our next lecture, I will cover the data preprocessing techniques, data cleaning, normalization, and other preprocessing techniques. So thanks everyone for listening.